honored to be a part of this group. It is a long-standing affinity group that has grown in recent years here in Boston and Massachusetts. Think of the Congressional Black Caucus or the Black and Latino elected officials at Legislative Caucus at the State House. This is one that spans all levels of government and is a space for people to build coalitions and represent communities. There are many, many such coalitions that exist, and each one should have their own space to connect and build and do that work. And holiday season is a great time just to get together and enjoy each other's company as well. I'm proud to host many, many of these across all different types of coalitions. So, within City Hall, this really isn't. It was one of those emails that we've all sent at one point or another, but it hasn't really generated much back and forth because there are many other events that everyone has been invited to in all different forums and groups and coalitions.
Michelle was asked to host.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that, okay? That was woke Boston Mayor Michelle Wu explaining in Wokenese why it is okay to have Jim Crow segregation in her government. And here's another explanation in Wokenese for why these racists believe that it's okay to be racist and why Jim Crow is good, why segregation is good. Here's another explanation.
Seems like, why can't they just have you can have a party to celebrate the strides people of color have made in all facets of life, including being elected to Congress, that like everyone can attend?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll take that under advisement. And we should never have any specific parties or events to celebrate any discrete groups. Not veterans, not people with physical impairments, not people who are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, not a Jewish celebration, not any discrete groups should ever have separate holiday parties or events in addition to the ones that are holistically celebrated.
Do you think a whites-only holiday party would generate some kind of backlash? I suspect that it would.
I think a Hanukkah event that had only white people, or a Celtic event that only...
creed-based events, not based on skin color.
We live in a country that has created a legal tiered hierarchy of a racist de jure system for the majority of the time that the country has existed. Only since my parents have been alive has that de jure system of segregation and apartheid with different laws for different people because of how they look been ended. And as a consequence, a lot of social and economic barriers still exist for people who are from those historically marginalized groups. Not because we came to America and decided we wanted to be different, because the laws of this country told us that we were. How have we now formed community groups, solidarity groups, legal advocacy groups, and social groups to advocate for our equality?
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. So apparently, according to the wokes, they don't really understand the difference between having a party where you are celebrating a specific group of people versus having a party where you are excluding a specific group of people. Like, for example, I've never heard anybody say that, hey, you can't come to our St. Patrick's Day party because you're not Irish, right? I've never heard that before, okay? I don't think anybody's ever say, yo, you can't come to a Christmas party because you're not Christian, right? I've never heard that, okay? I've never heard these things before. I think there's a difference between celebrating people because of their culture than excluding people based off their skin color, okay? I think that there's a difference. But again, according to the woke mind, right, this is all justified because apparently they haven't got equality yet, even though I'm not sure exactly what rights these woke revolutionaries are still fighting for. But that's another video for another day, okay? It is what it is. As this is a follow-up story to a story that I did yesterday about this situation in which Michelle Wu's Boston government got exposed after an email leaked to the public that was accidentally sent to all of the individuals in the Boston, I guess, City Council when it wasn't supposed to be. And this email was an invitation to their elected officials of color holiday party that apparently was supposed to exclude white members of the Boston City Council, which you can see there, quite a few here. These people were not invited to this party by their woke colleagues, right? So again, this story went viral because it is a clear example of the hypocrisy of the left, the woke left, when it comes to this issue of race. These same people that claim they love diversity, equity, and inclusion really hate diversity. They don't believe in equality, and they're not very inclusive, okay? And this story right here is a prime example of what I'm talking about. But in this follow-up video, I want to talk about how Mayor Michelle Wu is responding. And her response tells you everything you need to know about the difference between Republicans and Democrats when it comes to dealing with these types of situations. And that's really what I want to talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Well, just in time for the end of the year, we have another new controversy at Boston City Hall. This time it involves a party invitation that was accidentally sent to all city councilors, even though not all of them were invited. ABC 10's Eli Rosenberg joining us live from City Hall with a closer look at what happened here. Eli?
Corey, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu says this party has been held for more than a decade without any issues. All the city council members, as you mentioned, were invited to the party, which is going on right now, only to have that invitation rescinded for some.
I'm going to leave these in your offices.
At the last scheduled Boston City Council meeting of the year, a festive atmosphere. There were gifts, smiles, and group pictures, but also tension over a holiday party not everyone on the city council was invited to.
And I don't get offended. You don't want me at a party, I'm not going to come to the party, so, you know.
It all started with this email sent out by a city staffer on Tuesday on behalf of Mayor Michelle Wu, inviting all city councilors to an Electeds of Color holiday party on Wednesday night. About 15 minutes later, the same staffer sending out an email apologizing for sending out the invite to all city councilors. The mayor saying the party is just intended for minority elected officials.
There are many, many events that are private events for all different sorts of groups, and so we've clarified that and look forward to seeing everyone at one of the other dozens of opportunities to celebrate the holidays together.
The mayor says the Electeds of Color holiday party has been held for more than a decade, and there's never been an issue before this. And two city councilors attending the event defending the party.
It's not at all divisive. It's creating spaces for people and communities and identities with shared experience to come together.
I think somebody wanted to make this an inflammatory issue, and they've clearly succeeded. I have two microphones in my face asking me about an annual holiday party that we have, and whether or not I should, care about their feelings that there's a holiday party for people of color that they weren't invited to because they don't share those experiences.
But Frank Baker, attending his last scheduled city council meeting, says the party sends a wrong message for a council long plagued by infighting.
I think on holidays is a time for everybody to get together, so we'll see what happens, the way it goes. I do find it divisive, but, what are you going to do about it?
That party is still going on right now, not too far from where we are here outside City Hall. The mayor did say there are several other holiday parties in the coming days. She hopes all city council members come to one or all of those. Live in Boston, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, again, if I was a white member of that Boston City Council, I wouldn't be offended. I would just simply call out hypocrisy. I'm not offended. I don't want to come to your stupid party anyways, right? I don't want to party with these people. They don't seem like they're fun people to party with anyways, okay? Woke revolutionaries are not fun people to party with. So you know what? It's fine. I don't need to come to your party. Doesn't matter. I'm just concerned about the hypocrisy, right? The hypocrisy of your reaction if there was an all-white party that was exclusive of so-called people of color, right? Because we all know what would happen or what the backlash would be, what the outcry would be if the Boston City Council was a majority white and all the white city councilmen decided to get together in secret and to have a party without so-called people of color because they don't have the same lived experience, right? You don't have the same lived experience of being a white person, so therefore, you're not invited. Again, they would be screaming segregation, Jim Crow, racism. Again, especially if they're Republican. Why, they're Republican and they're a white. Oh my goodness, this story would be huge, right? You never hear the end of it. You never hear the end of it, okay? But before I dig deeper into this and to point out the difference between Democrats and Republicans in regards to how they respond to situations like this, I just want to point out just a pattern, okay, a pattern of behavior, okay, from some of these woke Democrat leaders, right? As you can see here, this is Michelle Wu and her husband, right? These, woke Democrats that claim they don't like white people so much, right? Then you have AOC, okay, who, also is one of these white people that's always boohoo-winding and crying about white supremacy, right, and too much whiteness. You have Ketanji Brown Jackson, the affirmative action Supreme Court Justice. Okay, you guys know the pattern here, right? You're noticing a pattern with these characters and these individuals. You have Kamala Harris, who is the affirmative action Vice President. You guys notice a pattern here? You have Ilhan Omar, who's a congresswoman. Again, you guys notice a pattern here, right? You notice the pattern is that it seems that the wokest among us and the colored wokes, right? Their terms, not mine, right? They're the ones that, like to call, I guess so-called black and brown people colored, right? The so-called woke colored women, they seem to love the great white pipe, right? Even though, they're always talking about white supremacy, they love that white supremacy in bed, boy. They love that white dominance, okay? They love the white patriarchy in bed, okay? This is what they love, right? Although they're always talking about how, white supremacy is such a bad thing. Amazing stuff. It's incredible. That should be studied, right? It should be studied. Why in the world do all these woke women that obsess over white supremacy, they love the great white pipe? Well, I don't understand it. I don't get it, right? I really don't get it. I think it's projection. Like everything when it comes to Democrats, it's just projection. But again, the point of this video is to remind you guys of the difference between how Democrats respond to stuff like this and how Republicans respond to it. Because can you imagine how Republicans would be responding to a story like this that broke out? How would Republicans respond to this? Well, they would be issuing apology after apology after apology to the mainstream liberal media. Okay, they would be begging for forgiveness. They would have canceled the party. Okay, and some of them might have resigned, right? They might have stepped down. Who knows? Maybe Republicans would have, I don't know, made them resign from their position or whatever through peer pressure. That's what would have happened. But when Democrats get caught being overtly racist towards whites, what do Democrats do? Democrats stand 10 toes down on their racism. They are unapologetic about what they're doing, right? They're unapologetic. I mean, straight up, like if you listen to Mayor Wu, what is she saying? She's not apologizing for the email in and of itself. She's not apologizing for the party, okay? They didn't cancel the party. The only thing she apologized for is the email getting sent, right? Not the email itself, not the party, not, offending anybody, right? No, she didn't apologize. She literally just I apologize for getting caught. I apologize for getting caught, right? I don't apologize for what we did, right? I just apologize for getting caught, which tells you everything you need to know about how they think about this. Like, they don't think that this is wrong, right? In their minds, they don't see this as segregation. They don't see this as a bad thing when so-called people of color can separate themselves from whites, but whites don't get the same luxury, right? Whites can't just separate themselves from, so-called people of color. If you're a white person and you come out and you say, we want a party for whites only, again, they're going to say that you're a part of the Klan. Right? They're gonna say that you're a Klansman. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna throw all types of accusations of racism at you. But when it comes to Democrats and their racism, though, nah, you're just misinformed. You don't understand. You don't understand. We need a space for like-minded or individuals that have the same life experiences to come together and to rejoice without having those pesky whites join along, right? Be a part of the party. It's absolutely amazing stuff. The hypocrisy is in your face, and when pressed on it, Democrats don't apologize, right? They don't apologize. They don't fold. They just went ahead with the party. It was like, hey, you guys can be mad. You can be upset, but we're going to go ahead with the party, okay? And, if any of you guys want to come to the other parties, cool, right? You can do that, but you just can't come to this one, and we're going to go ahead and have this party, and we're not going to apologize for it, right? They are unapologetic. And that is the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans, if this was them in this situation, they'd be boo-hooing. They'd be groveling. right? And they be trying to explain it. And like, nah, Democrats, they don't try to kowtow to the media and apologize and beg for forgiveness because they don't believe they did anything wrong, right? Even if they know that they're hypocrites, they simply don't apologize because they understand that apologizing is an admission of guilt. If they come out here and say, I apologize for having this party, then what they're saying is that, well, I'm wrong. I'm admitting that what we're doing is racist. By not apologizing, they're basically saying, well, we're not going to admit that this is racist. Okay, we think that this is right. We think that this is okay, and y'all can cry about it. This is why I didn't like when Republicans came out here and started doing all that boohoo, whining, and crying about Nick Fuentes, right? When Nick Fuentes had that dinner with Trump, and then you had people like Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out here trying to, distance herself and denounce Nick Fuentes and white supremacy and all this other crazy stuff. It's like, you doing that is literally an admission of guilt. You're admitting, you're giving them like credibility in regards to the accusations, right? Democrats don't do that. Even when they're clearly wrong, they never, ever, ever acknowledge that they're wrong, right? Are any Democrats out here coming out and saying, come on, Michelle Wu, you have to apologize, right? This is hypocritical and we think that this is wrong. Hell no, right? You don't see any Democrats trying to play clean up with the media and, trying to be above it all and to say, you know what, this is wrong. This is racism. We can't say that we are against racism while also being racist. Ain't no Democrat gonna say anything about it. They're gonna keep their mouth shut, right? They're gonna keep their mouth closed. This is the same thing they did during the pandemic. When they got caught not socially distancing, partying, no mask, okay, while at the same time telling everybody else in the country to do that and then shaming you if you don't do it. When they got caught not following their own rules, did they come out here and apologize? Hell no. They didn't apologize. They started attacking the media, right? They started attacking the people that were calling them out. They never apologize. And that's the point of this video, is that Republicans need to take note. Instead of always boohoo, whining, and crying and trying to take the high road, don't apologize, because the apology makes you seem like you're in the wrong. If you think that what you did is right and there's nothing to apologize for, then don't apologize, right? Because Democrats don't even apologize even when they know they're wrong. Republicans will be in the right and they'll come out and they'll start boohoo, whining, and crying and apologizing, even if there's nothing to apologize for. And again, it makes them seem weak and it makes them seem guilty. And that's something that Democrats have learned, and this is why they don't do it, right? This is why they don't do it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.